And here we go. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with more Final Fantasy 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Just a heads up, at this point in the game, there is a little bit of grinding that has to be done in order to make our life a little bit easier. We are only level 5, and you can complete the Marsh Cave at a low level with a little bit of RNG manipulation and running from encounters, but I'd rather not have to do all that and beat my head into a wall just kind of diving in there hoping to come out on top. Instead, what I would rather do is go in there safely and make sure that we have everything we need to just complete this portion of the game. So I think my first objective here is going to be picking up the silver sword for our fighter. That's going to help us immensely. And let's do a few more battles here in the water, and then we'll head back down to the elf town where we can continue grinding there, hopefully on ogres and creeps. Once we pick up the silver sword, the fighter will pretty much be able to take out a lot of enemies in one attack. And we just got an odd eye here, so we're going to clean that up really quick, hopefully. We did complete our recording for East 3 today as well, so those videos will be going up over the course of next week. Pretty fun stuff. And really, it's not too much going on right now. This water is really bright. Yeah, move a little bit further away. And yeah, we got a shark here. Since it's just one shark, I don't think I'm going to expend any magic here. Our black belt doing work with the critical hit. White mage misses her attack and sustains 31 damage. And everybody messed with the black belt. Let's go ahead and throw that cure out for our white mage. Not bad at all. The reason I wanted to do a few more battles here anyway was so that I could pop into the inn. It's a lot cheaper here than it is at the elf town. And I was hoping for a little bit more in terms of monster density in our fights here. The shark really is going the distance though. Now that he's down, let's go ahead and collect that EXP and gold. And we'll keep going. Our fighter taking damage isn't really a big concern at the moment. I believe we have to go and... wow, this one's going to be kind of nasty. You know, ask and you shall receive. Let's get rid of the sharks first. That seems to be the proper thing to do here. And since we have the magic, let's not hold back. That's not good. We just hope our white mage can avoid damage so that she can reap the benefits of the experience as well. These sharks up though, it is a little more troublesome, and we do have charges of ice. We are going to go ahead and just overkill the shark. This is probably more than enough. Actually wrong. But there we go. That's one shark off the board. Hopefully our white mage lives. And we're looking good. Maybe not so good. We don't have any other healing spells either. To be honest with you, if the fighter did die, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Considering that he is the tank, he is probably also... wow. He's most likely going to die. But considering that he's the tank, he's not going to miss out on much. It's not like he casts magic or anything. And just thinking about what I want to say here. It would be the easiest for him to just equip armor and immediately kind of catch up. So we've dispatched both sharks. And we don't have any more magic charges, that's fine. Yep, there he goes. No big deal. Get rid of these sahags or sea hags. we'll go res him. Double shark definitely cooked us though. Not bad at all. And let's get up here. It's gonna put our black mage at the front because it swapped places with our fighter. We can just head on up here. $40 gold. And we can go ahead and swap him back. If you hit the exit button or the B button, it'll make that sound there. Pretty neat. And we are going to rest in the inn here. So that fight netted us 190 gold and we spent 70, so it came out ahead. Where are we in terms of that sword? And now we'll start heading towards the elf town. And again, the fighter, probably one of the better party members to end up dying there. I'm going to put 2 people attacking that odd eye there. And probably more than enough. Yep. I figured the black belt has the best chance of landing a hit at this point in the game. And like I said, this episode here is going to have a good bit of grinding in it, unfortunately, just because we have to get those level ups to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. But once we get through maybe the first fiend, most of the grinding ends at that point. We'll start leveling up, we'll be picking up gear and equipment well enough that we won't have to worry too much about it. And again, I could pick up the Fire 2 spell and I could go and pop a tent or a cabin, save the game, and try and land one of those Peninsula of Power encounters. I just don't want to do that. I'm being honest, don't really like it too much. I feel like it kind of lets you skip through this part of the game especially, and it definitely is quicker to do that. I actually enjoy the combat in this game a lot, so that's kind of why I want to do the fighting. And there is an ogre, so we're just going to all in on him. And there was an armor upgrade, I believe, for our fighter in the second town there. I just didn't pick it up because I was trying to conserve gold. And to be honest with you, he's still pretty much okay. We will want that armor upgrade before we go into the Marsh Cave, though. I would just rather get the sword first. Even the sharks took a good bit of time to whittle him down there, so... And we've got another good fight. So tell you what, let's split these guys up. We'll drop a fire on that bottom creep. Not too bad. Now if we can keep these creeps from hitting our black mage, which he's doing great at dodging. And fortunately, we did not close that out. We're going to swap it up and drop a fire on this top creep now as well. If it hits high, it could kill it. Yep. So our fighter's attack is wasted. And we know both mobs have attacked. And I'm just going to keep the black belt on that creep. He should be able to kill it here shortly. We'll get the ice spell on the ogre. Yep. And we just need to kill the ogre now. So we'll just put all our attacks onto him. The little dagger. And the hammer. There we go. How much gold do we have now? perfect. Go pick up our silver sword here. And our fighter should be landing more attacks with this. There it is, 4,000. We definitely want it. And let's just compare. So he's going to go 21 damage and 27 hit percentage to 35 and 37. So that is a massive gain. Also, let me go back into the menu and we'll toss a heal on him just in case. Now our fighter is going to be doing significantly more damage. And it's going to make these encounters go a little bit quicker as well. When your fighter is able to equip that silver sword... Ooh, they strike first. When your fighter is able to equip that silver sword, it's going to allow him to hopefully dispatch a creep by himself. Let's see, we're going to queue our black belt, and let's go ahead and expend a fire spell down here. I could be completely overestimating it, but if the fighter strikes twice or gets 2 hits, it should be good to take out one of these creeps. And our black belt is down. Our cure spell didn't make it in time, which is fine. Yep, so the fighter is definitely going to do a good bit of damage here. We'll get this ice spell on the ogre. Yep. So already the value of the silver sword is coming through. Really, it was unfortunate that they got the first strike there, but hey, it happens. That's one of the reasons why I love this one. You never know what's going to happen. You could go into any battle, especially in the mid to late game, and you could just get wiped. I know we can't buy anything here, but I do want to check it out just to see the price. 1,500. We definitely need that Fire 2 spell. I believe the armor we need is 800. 200 gold, wow. It's pretty expensive compared to the 40 in the first town. Just gotta wait for this guy to move. He's trolling us. Let me step out of this way. Okay. And 100, so we just dumped 300 gold there. Not ideal. But we need experience anyway. And we'll get about this menu. You could make the journey back to Cornelia there, but this is already a grindy video anyway. And to be honest with you, this video may be a little bit longer than the others too. I want to make sure we get all of our grinding done, and more importantly, if you don't care for the grinding, you would just like to jump into the plot, then you could just go to part 4. And that's going to be where we head to the Marsh Cave. I really like our black belt there. Very nice. So our damage is connecting a lot more, and the more levels we get on our black belt, I mean, I just can't stress enough that silver sword is exactly how I remembered it. When I replay this game nowadays, I play it more on the updated versions, and it's a lot more balanced there. But on the regular Nintendo version here, the silver sword was a huge power spike. And we got the first strike this time. But what I was saying about the black belt is the more levels we get on him, the more efficient he's going to be, and his damage will eventually surpass the fighter. Very good. Very good. So what I'm actually going to do here is let the fighter guarantee us the kill on that creep. And we're going to all in on the ogre here. Good damage. And very nice. It's always good to see the enemies deal damage to the fighter instead of your other characters. And we should be able to dispatch this ogre now. Everything is looking good. Let's see, do I need to heal anybody? not going to at the moment. And really, this is one of the better spots to grind gold. You could just stay outside the town so that you're close in case something goes wrong. And more importantly, the ogres always drop a good amount of gold. Take one more round just to clean this up. As soon as our fighter gets his round, this ogre will go down. Funny enough, you can imagine 4 fighters, once they get those 4 silver swords, and you actually know how to equip it, they'd be doing a lot of work. So our black mage got the level there, he's now level 6. 1 or 2 more fights, our other 3 party members should be right there with him. Everybody's died, unfortunately, except for the black mage. And I don't think I want to actually cast magic. If the fighter crits, he could totally wipe out one of these ogres. The worst case is we'll just have to expend a heal spell. And we're not having to expend anything this round. Okay. We'll just all in again. Actually, we'll move these guys to the bottom one. The fighter will 100% kill that ogre at the top. We can make some headway on this one. Good dodge. Not a good dodge. That was a awful crit. Looks like our black mage may be joining everyone in having their fair share of death. So you saw there we only hit once, so that would have been a miss otherwise. When you start getting those multiple hits in, like 2 hits, you stop missing pretty much. And we'll just clean this up, then we'll throw out a few cure spells. There we go. And hopefully everybody else gets their level up here. Just our white mage. Which it's good that she broke 100 hit points. Let's throw one there. Let's throw one there. And that'll end that. We can start throwing more spells out with our black mage as well, since he's going to have to... we're going to have to go to the end anyway eventually. Perfect time for that, it would appear. And tell you what, let's throw out a sleep spell. Let's see if we can shut down some of these turns. There we go. Good damage from the fighter. And all but that bottom wolf is bottom great wolf is asleep. So let's do this. And we'll keep this rhythm going. I'm going to overcommit on the lesser wolves, just because I'm not sure if Andy will kill them fully. He definitely did. Our fighter is making quick work of the greater wolves, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Overcommit a little bit. And our fighter actually missed there. It's an extremely low chance for that, I believe. But this should be the end of this round, or end of this fight. And it looks like we got the first attack. And our fighter in black belt now join the cool kids at level 6. Gold do we have? Getting pretty close to that Fire 2 spell. And it's not too much grinding. It is around, 30-40 minutes of it. And we have the chance to strike first. So tell you what, let's go ahead, put these guys to sleep. Really paying attention to that one great wolf that was not affected by it. And they got got that one. So what I'm going to do here is split everybody's damage up a little bit, because this is a pretty nasty enemy team here. I'm hoping that we can finish that top left one off. Yep. And we're going to make some headway here on these other ones. So we're going to let the fighter attack him, and we're going to swap the lesser damage dealing characters to the other one. We don't want to see that. There we go. That's good and good. So that crit really doesn't matter. We can take another wolf off the board here. And just in case the fighter crits, we can remove that top right one. And I'm hoping these characters can get rid of the bottom left. Perfect. And perfect. So, let's head back into town. We'll go to the inn. It's pretty imperative that we get that Fire 2 spell, though. This should be an easy one. Just gonna handle it like this. They'll deal a little bit of damage to us, but we've gotten a good bit stronger. It's definitely one of those fights that's not worth fighting. Usually the wolf enemies are never really worth it, unless you run into the ice version. You can just hit them with a Fire 2 spell and clean them up pretty efficiently. Which I believe is one of the encounters on the Peninsula of Power. This is one of the more ideal encounters. Alright, just one more. And I'm leaving the grinding in just so you guys can see that too, if you would like to see it anyway. Just so you'll know, if you did want to do the Peninsula of Power, or in case you're new to the game, you can kind of get an idea of how to get stronger and how to be efficient in that manner. Not that I'm perfect or anything like that. I've let people die several times, and that's just the roll of the die, you know. So monster strike first, good and good. And I don't think we really need to cast magic here. Sure, they're going to deal damage, but you know, with our fighter hitting that hard, and hopefully our thief, and not thief, black belt, and our other characters, white mage, black mage, can close it out. I really did consider putting a thief there instead of the black belt, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. And the reason I did is, one, you can see how big his class change is. He starts to be able to cast black magic up to level 4 or tier 4. He also gains access to some of the fighter's equipment, which also helps him significantly in combat. And then there is a sword that only he can use. And it's not phenomenal. There are better weapons in the game, but for the ninja, I believe that is the best. And if you didn't know, the thief will turn into a ninja, but he can't dual wield or anything like that, like in the later versions of the game. Not too bad. We do want to heal our black mage in case he gets a wild crit on him. That'll leave us with one more cure spell. We do have 2 charges of the fire spell now, which is great. That's pretty much going to be essential for us traveling or traversing the Earth Cave, which is later in the game. And I am going to overcommit to that top right greater wolf there. I just want to make sure he goes down. Again, not too worried about the lesser wolves here, or the regular wolves, whatever you want to call them. That crit from our black belt and our fighter should be able to ensure its death. There we go. start spreading our characters out a little bit. I always like to double the casters up on, at least for the early stages of the game, on one enemy that is a weaker enemy, depending on at which point I am in the game. And then I like to spread the fighter out to be able to guarantee one kill, and hopefully the black belt can start guaranteeing another kill. The closer we get him to level 10, the more he really is going to shine. He's already doing pretty good damage. But we do have to remember that those enemies are a little bit weaker than what we're used to seeing at this point. Also, we can go grab that Fire 2 spell. We should do that. That way he can use those charges on any high dense enemies that we run into. And I do want to start saving up for armor. And this video is definitely going to go over 30 minutes. We're at 26 minutes now, but I just want to make sure we get all the grinding done in one video. That way it does, you know, allow you guys, in case you did want to skip, to just go to part 4. Making short work of these wolves. And you can really kind of get a feel for our power as it continues to grow. That's another reason I love this game. Every upgrade you get just hits like wow, you know, it's very noticeable. What do I want to do? I'm gonna put everybody with an ice spell on one wolf. Does it hit high? It absolutely does. Oh my gosh, that was a disgusting ice. Our black belt was like, man, there's nothing to do. The manual to this game does tell you the damage ranges, I believe, on the spells. And I don't believe you see a large amount of enemies kind of weak to ice in this game. I like to think of it as a non-elemental spell, just because there are obvious enemies that are weak to fire and lightning, but you don't really see too many that are notably weak to the ice spell itself. We're going to be using that Fire 2 here. If you noticed, I had the fighter attack the ogre, one black belt on the creep, and I don't expect the white mage to be able to kill that last creep, but if the Fire 2 rolls high, it will die from it. But we should be able to one round this. 37. Creeps are weak to fire, so they should take a little more damage. 100, so those two attacks are ineffective, but here comes our fighter. Almost. If the fighter rolled good on his damage, we would have taken that ogre out as well. He doesn't need but a little bit more just to finish up. But not before he hits the black belt one more time. So let's go ahead and heal our black belt up. Like that. Check our next level. So we started this video and I did check the status screen before I hit record. They were about 700 to the next level. And we're going to do the same thing here where we put everybody on one wolf, the fighter on the other. And we're going to cast an ice spell on that greater wolf there. I think if I had to give you a goal though, to know that you're ready for the Marsh Cave, it would be level 7. It would also be make sure that you have Fire 2 and the Silver Sword for your people that can use it, notably the Fighter, Red Mage. I can't remember if the Thief can use the Silver Sword. But you just want those people who can to have it. It's more important after the Marsh Cave. There is a kind of major boss battle that does happen afterwards, and having those silver swords, which will of course help with higher crits and higher hits, It's very important. If we could get a charge of tier 4 magic, we could pick up a spell called Fast, or more notably Haste in the later games. And if we could cast that on our fighter or our black belt, that would also help that major boss battle. So if you do hit a wall, there are options that you could do just to kind of help you get through it. This is going to be another pretty straightforward fight. I'm trying to save that last charge of Fire 2 for a big wolf spawn or a ogre with 2 or more creeps. And we can finish this fight up here. I'm going to try and keep this video to about 45 minutes if possible. That's going to be my cutoff point. Maybe an hour tops. Let's look at our life here. So our black belt, let's do something that may seem a little silly. The white mage isn't going to mitigate the damage better, but she does have a higher hit point threshold. We just throw a light spell into this, lightning. Basically, we won't need it. Just trying to get a few more fights before we have to rest. Of course, being greedy could end up getting that black belt killed and turn a 100 gold expense into 300 gold, which we don't want to do. Alright, we got the chance to strike first. We're still going to divide our characters' attacks up. Going to throw that Fire 2 spell out. And I fully expect it to kill the creeps as well. There you go. Crazy damage on that Fire 2. So the black mage showing his worth there, especially in the early game. You want to learn which encounters are easy for you to manage. And I was really hoping he wouldn't poison there. Learn which encounters you can manage pretty easily and which ones you would hate to go through several rounds with, and those rounds is the ones that you would expend your magic that would hit multiple enemies on. Keep in mind that you can use the black mage to kind of control enemy groups as well. With the sleep spell, you can reduce their rounds or amount of actions that they can take that way. Getting some not so great encounters here. I will throw a fire spell out, and the reason I say not so great is they can poison your characters, the arachnid and these asps. They can inflict that poison status, which is no good. It makes you have to expend a pure potion. The white mage can get a spell to rid us of poison, which I can't remember if that's tier 2 or 4. Let's check it out. I think tier 2 is the anti-blind. Of course, we don't have any of her tier 2, but I think it is tier 4. We could answer that question when we go shopping again. And another unfortunate encounter. It's a lightning. Fire didn't seem to do too well. That's a little bit better. And we like to see them missing. Perfect. Now, if we could just kill them, it's a nice crit. And can you close it out? Amazing. So, let's go back in. Let's hit up the inn. And we're going to want to swap our black belt with our mage. And I don't believe there's any weapons we really care about for the other 3 characters other than the fighter. There are armor upgrades here though. Now, what do we have to work with? We have the iron armor. The copper bracelet, I'm not sure the defense gain from it. I think it increases evasion. And we have the wooden helmet and caps. So let's take a look at what armor we have. So gloves, cap, we need 2 caps and a helmet, iron armor, we'll grab his iron armor. Then we'll grab his wooden helmet. Now, we just need 2 caps. Throw one on the white mage and one on the black mage. And then we will sell his gloves and buy the iron shield. So I think that's going to set us up for our armor upgrades. Did I mean to sell the gloves? I think I did. Right? Let's test this out really quick. Wow, you can use gloves with that. I was thinking the shield would replace that, but no big deal. Also, don't forget to equip their caps here. And just the OCD part of me is kind of kicking in. Let's fix this too while we're here. Yep, perfect. Everybody's good. Everybody's good here. Equip that. Okay. And let's sell the chain. And we don't have anything to sell anymore. Does this guy sell gloves? He does not. Gloves are worth 1 defense, and to be honest with you, we may go pick that up. Let's check a few things here really quick. I think this is level 4. So the pure spell is there. So that would allow our white mage to get rid of poison on our characters. And let's head out of here. Trying to think if there's any reason we go back to that second town. I don't think there is, but I'm not really too concerned over the one. And I'm just going to throw a fire or 2 out here. These wolves are hardly worth it, but just to get them off the screen quicker. And I don't have to soak up a bunch of damage possibly on my mages. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the gloves. I think at the moment, if we could get Q or 2 for our white mage, unless level 7 provides a 4th spell slot, I think the move here is to get level 7, possibly Q or 2, and then maybe just a few antidotes in case completely overdid it there as well. A few antidotes in case we get a lot of poison status or debuffs in the Marsh Cave. Let's go ahead and finish this guy up. Yeah, the ogre can barely hurt our fighter now. His absorb probably shot up through the roof. Not too much more. Perfect. This is going to be our next Fire 2 spell here. Again, just to get them off the map quicker. We're getting to the point where we're close to that level and we're also able to clean these guys up. Don't waste our fighter's attack because that one rolled high. But having only those 2 greater wolves to deal with would be easy. And Another fun thing that this game came with was a map. And on the back of the map, it had all the monsters' stats, their hit points, their weaknesses and resistances, except for the final boss. It did not show the final boss. Or if it did, I don't remember it showing him. I believe he was kind of shadowed out. So our black mage got his level there. It's great. And one thing I didn't show in one of the earlier episodes, I think the brooms talked and they spoke backwards, but it said push B and then select. If you do that, it will pop up the map of the game. And when I was also talking about we're kind of confined to that inner circle with the ship at the moment, you see that little target down there at the bottom between those two bottom swords on the landmass there. That's us, and the water that we have access to is right up above there. So we'll have to progress the plot if we want to get outside of that. And we're going to make sure that we get that wolf. And we'll also double our casters up on the lesser wolf below. And again, you don't have to fight these encounters. There are encounters that you can't run away from. These are totally runnable. I'm just choosing to fight every encounter that I get. I think that's a nice little flavor to add to the videos. And if I get an unfortunate encounter in the later in game, and if you've ever played this game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a lot of nasty encounters you can run into, especially if they get the first strike. You could game over pretty much at any point. You just have to really hope that nothing bad like that happens. We're going to finish these last two wolves up here. We will need to heal a little bit here. But more importantly, let's check magic. So he doesn't get access to that level 4 charge at that level 7, which is totally understandable. It would be really strong. So that's telling me let's get that keyword 2 instead. Double Ogre is probably the most ideal encounter that you can get. If you have the silver sword and you roll good damage, you could easily get rid of him on one round. Like that. Not only that, but you're going to get a lot of gold for it. And the experience isn't bad either. And there we go. So you'll see here, it's close to 100 and 400. So 97 experience, 390 gold. Our black belt gets his level up. Very nice. White mage gets hers. More importantly, let's check one thing with our black belt here. We do need to heal our black mage again. Our black belt's absorb is 7. Let's go ahead and unequip all of his armor and such. His absorb is 7 without it. So, evade is 57. What is it with the armor? 47. So he actually gains 1 defense point, and his evade is better. What is his damage? 14 and 23. Does it get affected by this at all? More importantly, let's take this. Put it up there on our guy. And just because we're OCD. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do the gloves. Now I'm messing up. There you go. Yeah, the black belt is now at level 7 more efficient without armor. He has higher evade and even more absorb. And he could just be pretty much naked the rest of the game. Pretty cool. We're coming in right at that 45-minute mark, but we need just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and overcommit a little bit, and we can expend a fire spell. decent damage. No damage. Not ideal. That was pretty ideal. So we're going to do things a little differently here. There we go. Kind of like that. Get rid of that creep. Get rid of that creep. And I was hoping he would be able to get that over. But no big deal. I did want to check one thing though with our black belt again, because their stats are a little finicky depending on what you equip. So it was 7 and 57, just confirming. If we quit the cap, what happens? 1. Yikes. Let's swap him with our white mage again. And really just trying to get a few more encounters in, just to increase how many items we can purchase before we go. That's not what we want to see. It is important that you don't use your pure in the actual fight again, just in case, you know, let's say you used it before the monsters went and then they hit the same character and repoisoned them. You're just going to be wasting some items at that point. And hopefully we can get rid of these guys here. Good. And good. We know nobody else is getting poisoned. It's going to swap us with our black mage. And we're just going to go into our select screen, fix that. There we go. And how much gold do we have? 1650. So that's the Cure 2 spell, but we do need a little bit more than that. This is not ideal either. Let's just go ahead and start expending magic. 218 damage, that's what we like to see. We do not like to see her getting hit though. Not bad, not bad. And we're going to do the same thing. Going to expend this ice spell. Hopefully the fighter rolls high. Great. Unfortunate. And we're just going to expend the magic because we're pretty much resting after this anyway. No reason not to use it. And good. So, decent money. I don't want to do anything with him, but we do want to take our black belt. And let's see. We'll go ahead and rest. And let's head up here. They do put little Easter eggs in these games as well. If you talk to one of the tombstones, here it should say something. Here lies Erdrick. And if you know who Erdrick is, he's the hero from, is it Dragon Quest III? Anyway. So we'll go ahead and pick up Cure 2. That A-Fire, anti-fire spell is going to be very important, and we do want harm as well. We don't care too much about the heal. Heal is going to cure everybody a little bit, but there are items that you can get later in the game to do that. And we do have some stuff we need to sell as we are preparing here. Sell that. And we'll get rid of these nunchucks, considering that he doesn't need them anymore. And we were able to give the fighter his gloves since they're no longer important. sell that, and we can go ahead and sell this. So we're about 50 minutes in. That's looking real nice. That's looking good. Let's see, what else could we do? Let's go ahead and head over to the item shop. So, my main concern is the poison. I think we should just go ahead and make this an hour video for the grind. We'll get a little bit more gold. That way we can afford a little bit more items. Just to prevent us from having to use any of those items. We're gonna get in the water here, and we're gonna head back to the first town. I do want to pick up a tent or two there. Yeah, we're just gonna move back and forth here a little bit. And these guys should get cleaned up. Pretty much no big deal. We are definitely hitting that peak to be ready for the Marsh Cave, and to be honest, with a little bit of good luck, you could have completed it already at a lower level. I just don't think it's worth beating your head into a wall or risking reliance on RNG. I mean, there still is going to be a little bit as well. There is what we call trap tiles, where when you step on it, it's a forced encounter. And in the Marsh Cave, you will have to fight a forced encounter that can either have 2 to 4 wizards. And I know you're thinking wizards, so they're spellcasters. And in actuality, they're not. They hit really hard, and they could easily kill one of the casters or the black belt in one attack. Especially if it crits. And they even do massive damage to the fighter. Again, we're just going for a little bit more gold here. And truthfully, we could probably do a little bit more in the Elf Town. I just don't want to waste gold getting poisoned or anything like that. Great, we like to see these guys. I'm going to split our attacks up here. And let's go ahead and use a lightning spell. Remember, these guys give great money. Pretty good. One of the downsides to this controller is the D-pad is a little stiff, so sometimes it moves me up and moves me down, which is going to be really fun when playing a game like Zelda, where we like to have those precise strikes. We're still getting a little bit more gold here. We'll put the fighter over here, and we'll put our casters on the odd eye. That's the paralyzed spell. And again, they don't have too much hit points, and we're not going to have the whole party paralyzed here. I probably could have put the black belt on the odd eye as well, but I thought it was already overkill with the 2 casters. But if one gets paralyzed, then, you know, Gonna need extra damage on it. Still some crazy thunder outside as well. Let's have a good laugh here and expend one of these Fire 2 spells on the aquatic enemies. Not too bad. But you can see it kind of does a lot less damage when they're resistant to it. Split these guys up here, and we'll close this encounter out. We'll get probably 2 more fights in before we go shopping and get our last little bit of preparations. You guys might think this is a little overkill, but again, you can really never be too prepared. And I do want this shark to go away. And let's hit an ice spell on this red one. I don't think that it would be super effective. I just want to see the damage roll that it's going to do. It's not bad. That's why I always think the ice spell is kind of non-elemental. But I'm sure there's frost damage increases and weaknesses in the game. It just feels like a good middle ground most of the time. And you can always kind of count on it to do... It's not going to beat a weakness, usually, I don't think. But you can always count on it to do reliable, decent damage. And let's see. Another one of these, which is a-okay with me. Do another ice spell. In games like this and Dragon Warrior, the grinding is pretty fun. It may not be the best to watch, but when you're doing it and you're noticing those power increments, those power spikes, it is pretty fun. So we're at 58 minutes. Let's go ahead and do just one more. It'll allow us to get a few more items. Kind of toying with the idea of just showing you guys the Peninsula of Power as well, just so you can see exactly what it is in case you're a new player. That could be a good way to close this video out, I guess. But more importantly, let's go buy items really quick before we do show you where that is. So let's pick up like 3 tents. We'll grab a few more pures. Okay, we'll just grab one more. And then the rest is going to go into heals. You really can never have too many pures. There's so many enemies in the game that poison you. And eventually we will be able to use magic to get rid of it, but remember our magic has charges, and early on we'll only have 1 charged, and we'll barely have 2 as we continue to gain more experience. We don't actually want to buy that last one, we want to be able to save. I think it's 30 gold. And let's do an item check here. 9 heals, 3 tents, 7 pures, level 7. Definitely not getting another level. So, just to close this video out, this is going to be the save point that I'm going to resume at. And I am going to just take a second, and I will run away from encounters if it's too much. I'm not trying to drag this video out. But since I have talked about it, I will show off the Peninsula of Power. I don't want it to affect my save. And, oh, this is good gold. Okay, I'm going to keep this in there. Just because I want the gold. I'm really like I should just run away. But I am just going to show you the Peninsula of Power. That way, if you want to do it, and hey, we could totally die too there. If we get the wrong encounter, we're going to die. I believe the worst thing that you can pick up on is a T-Rex. They just have a large amount of hit points. They do a lot of damage. The ideal encounters are snow wolves, of course, without them getting the first strike. The zombies are not bad. And you guys are like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to go in there and save. It's not worth it. We'll just head over there. So you go to town number 2 and you start heading south through the mountain pass. We're just going to run away. Hopefully we'll run away without taking a lot of the damage. You will get some enemy encounters over here that you haven't seen before. That's pretty normal. You'll also notice there's a port here. And usually that port is kind of irrelevant. I don't think there's a real reason for it. Arachnid's going to strike first. Instead of running and risking getting poisoned and not being able to run, we're just going to all in on it. Please, no poison. Please kill it. And we're going to head up here. Will we make it? So the tip here is the Peninsula of Power. It has to be at the very top where you can't press up anymore and move. I will just heal our characters because I don't know which encounter we're going to get. Even that 1 hit point can make the difference. And you just walk back and forth. And this is where you could save a lot of time doing that grinding. This is not an ideal encounter, but let's go ahead and fight it. We're going to all in there. We're going to expend our fire 2s. I'm pretty sure ice is going to do better. These enemies, you will meet them in the Earth Cave. And yeah, they're pretty nasty. Ice definitely is better here, but I'm just trying to spread out my damage. 62 damage onto our Black Mage there. And if you've noticed, we've done fairly decent damage, but we haven't been able to kill one yet. Let's go ahead and do a Cure 2. We'll throw out the next Fire 2 and just hope that our Black Mage survives. Perfect, that's going to bring at least one of them down. And if you were trying to do this at level 4 without Fire 2 or without the Silver Sword, I'm just going to be honest, your chances of coming out of this fight, particularly this one, alive is extremely low. The Giants do incredible damage, 47 again. They're even penetrating our fighter's armor. Our healer is very much so healing right now. And can we kill this last one? Thank you. Alright. You'll see the rewards are very much well worth it though. We definitely can close the fight out now. It's very risky. People will use tents and houses here and farm this area and get super strong early on. I think it takes a lot of the flavor from the game. Especially if you want that risk. So let's pay attention to how much experience and gold. 659 experience points, 2,637 gold. That is incredible for this point in the game. But more so, this video is approaching an hour and 5 minutes, and you know, I did want to show it since I did talk about it, but when we resume, we'll be back in Cornelia. That's where the first town that we're going to just straight book it towards the Marsh Cave. I may save outside of the Marsh Cave just to see how it goes. We could die, we could wipe in there. It just depends on the wizard RNG and the encounter RNG. And then the boss fight after that, we could die as well. But I can't say that once we clear this, we'll be in the go zone. But yeah, definitely let me know what your favorite... Tell you what, what's been your favorite picture of Andy that I've posted in these videos as well? So we have him on the TV, we have him camping, and then we have him just lounging around. So what's been your favorite Andy picture so far? It's a shame also that he hasn't been joining us. Anytime Michelle is home, or if it's in prime sunbathing time, he's going to be in a window. And I rarely stay up anymore, but when I used to, he would be in here with me. Maybe we'll do a late night recording session just to see if we can get him on camera for you guys. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and have a good one.